YouTube, what's going on? It's got Professor Smell. Good to be back. I thank you guys for watching again. Today's topic is how to get what another man got. How to get what another man got. Meaning that if there's somebody that you look up to, you admire, or if you envy, yeah, because this is very possible. You envy somebody and you want something that they have. How do you get that? How do you get that? What's the proper way of you going about to get the same exact thing that he has? I want you guys to listen very carefully. Okay? This can apply to any walk of life. It can apply to any walk of life, whether it be oils, corporate companies, anything. You get a raise, you get a higher position at your job, anything. He has a good wife, anything. Okay? How? The proper thing to do, if you see somebody got something that you want, or you want to be exactly where he is or better, humble yourself. Humble yourself and sincerely ask him. Sincerely. Look at the key word that I use. Sincerely ask him, what is it that you do that got you to... What is it that you do to get you to the point where you are right now? Do you have any advice for me to get me to the point where you are or better? What suggestions would you suggest for me as a beginner in such and such type of endeavor? And then if you're sincere, the person will guide you along the way. Or if the person, a lot of times, like for example myself, I got information all on YouTube. So, all you got to do is just watch watch my videos. And I'm going to tell you something, just like I said before, a lot of you guys may be doing better than me with the oils, okay? I'm making videos and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that I'm a millionaire. I'm not even close. I'm not even close to anything that you think that I'd probably be making, okay? But I pay my bills, okay? I just work like I'm a millionaire. My work ethic is that of a millionaire, but I'm not making million dollars, $250,000, 5,000 a month, 4,000 a month. I'm not making 3,000 a month, okay? But I pay my bills. I do pay my bills, okay? I make enough to pay my bills. I won't go into details as far as exactly how much I make, because that ain't none of your business, but I make enough to pay my bills, okay? Now, and if I was, and inshallah, if Allah permits, when I get into a location or a city that has much more money than Detroit, because also that plays a part in it, because Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, finances is really scarce here, man. That plays a real big part right there. The finances is really scarce, and there's really just so much that you can make, So, whatever you want from somebody, learn. Be a student. Humble yourself, okay? Humble yourself. And you will learn exactly how they got to the point where they got. You got to be able... I'll give an example. Jamie Foxx, for example. Okay, I was listening to an interview by Jamie Foxx. And Jamie Foxx was mentioning that Nick Cannon used to sleep on his couch. And a lot of people don't even know that. They think that Nick Cannon's success just came from, just came out the blue. This guy, if you look at a lot of those celebrities, whether it be actors, whether it be comedians, a lot of them, they have already been sitting under somebody for some time that's well known until their time came. I'll give an example. Nia Long, she didn't just start coming about within the past 10 years. She's been working before then. She was actually on what they call the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She was on Fresh Prince. There's an episode where she was actually, I think, Will Smith's girlfriend, right? She was Will Smith's girlfriend on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She been doing work back then. Okay? A A lot of those people you see now that's big now, they put work in from way before. What's her name? Uh, the one that got the TV show. She used to be a model. Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks was also on. She was also on Fresh Prince. She was actually the one. If you remember the episode, she was actually the one that was like a bad girlfriend for Will. That was so hot. So you know what I mean. She was really, really good looking. I don't want to say because kids around, but she was really, really good looking, right? And Will didn't want to fornicate. He wanted to marry her and do it the right way because of the values that his parents actually instilled in him. So he wanted to marry her, and then he ended up marrying her. But he found after that happened, he came back to Phil, and he was like, I didn't, he found out who she really was. She was very controlling. But anyway, the point of reference is that she been well known. She been known. The point of reference is that she been known before, she got to the point where she is right now. Martin Lawrence, when he first came out was Martin. He was, that's when he really, really just got big. But before then, he was already doing work because he was in House Party. His name was Bilal. So my point of reference is that everybody, when you see people, man, they get up there, they have actually had to humble themselves to be under somebody and sit at the feet of somebody for a substantial amount of time to get to the point where they finally got their big break. Okay? Now, if you follow that same exact method, then your time will also come. You know what I'm saying? Your time will also come. I'm not there yet, but one day, inshallah, if Allah permits, my day will come. My big break will come. You know what I'm saying? My big break will come one day. And, I don't know. Maybe I may not live to see my big break. And, if I don't live to see my big break, God forbid, Allah forbid, then me putting these lessons out on YouTube, it would actually spark the brain, like Tupac said, it will spark the brain of somebody that will watch this lesson and they will become big for it. And then, I may be passed away, I may be dead and gone, but after I'm passed away, people still talking about the Professor Smell Good methods. Okay? So, but the thing is, that's the thing. You have to be able to sit under somebody and humble yourself and learn. Now, I got to talk about this since I talked about... Thank you. About the incense too. The name of the incense is called Run Devil Run. Actually, this incense here was actually made by a brother named Muhammad from Detroit. He used to ride around selling this incense, okay? And I revived this for him out of respect for him. From Allah. All right. So, to continue, now here's one of the big problems. One of the big problems is when a lot of people, when they see people that they have something that they want, they envy them, okay? Now let me show you how dangerous and how harmful that is. And it's actually more harmful to you than it may harm the other person. Because when you envy somebody, let me just give you signs and traits of somebody that envies somebody. And I'm saying this for a reason, because when you're trying to do the right thing and when you are good at something, you will have people that will envy you. And so it may be, as Nino Brown said, it may be somebody that's riding right in the car with you. It may be somebody that is a best friend of yours, right? It may be family members, right? It can be anybody. It can be somebody you went to school with, that you've been knowing for pretty much your whole life that may envy you. You know what I'm saying? And let me give you some of the signs. One of the signs is that they never clap for you. They never clap for you. All right? So when a person envies you, they never clap for you. They never give you a like. When I mean they never give you a like, I'm talking about somebody that's close to you. I mean somebody that's close to you, or not close to you, somebody that see you doing your work. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about somebody that see you doing your work. If you see somebody doing something good, man, just, you know what I'm saying? And I'm be honest, I'm not a person, I'm not like hungry, I'm not heart hungry. I'm not comment hungry, but I'm just giving you reality. I'm giving you reality. If you have a best friend or you have somebody that supposed to be sincerely rooting for you, that you would expect to root for you, and they see your stuff and they don't like it, they actually really suspect to me. That's really suspect, because if you supposed to be my friend and you see what I'm doing, but you supposed to be the first person to clap. Your parents supposed to be the first person to clap. Your family members supposed to be the first person to clap. If they don't clap, then they can be very suspect. Because when you see somebody doing something good, what prevents you from liking it? That's the question. What prevents you from commenting? Who are you having conversations with? Because if you display right in front of me that you are rooting for me and you wish well for me and you want the best for me and keep up the good work, but you don't, if you see it and you don't comment, that means that you're talking to somebody that is actually saying some things about you, and you would actually listen to it without actually defending them. That's exactly what it means. Somebody saying something, it could be a couple of people, like they say, misery loves company. Haters also love company. Haters, they love company. And haters, when they hate you, if you really supposed to be rooting for somebody, say, listen, man, no, listen, you know what? I can't be in the company if y'all talking. That brother doing something well. That sister's doing something well. I can't listen to y'all say these things. You know what, man? Y'all have a good one, man. Y'all, I just can't be in a company if y'all talking about him or her like that. That's a genuine person. But the thing is, what prevents you from liking? What prevents you from commenting? What prevents you from giving a heart? And I'm just saying, people that really, they see what you're doing and they follow you like that. Like, normally what I do, I don't really be following nobody. Like, I be so focused on my own thing. I very rarely just go to somebody else page and this, and I just like their stuff and comment, except for people that I know doing really good with they really putting in work with the oil game. Then I know them. And every now and again, when I see them, I give a like, give a comment, great work, good job. Let's get it, hard, keep up the good work, etc. Nice job, etc. But back to one of the signs, they don't clap, they don't root, they won't give a like, okay? And they always will nitpick. They always will nitpick, and they won't focus on what you're doing good. They will always nitpick to what you're doing wrong. And I actually mentioned that before. They will always nitpick to what you're doing wrong. And the dangerous thing about envy is that when you envy somebody, you actually want what they have, but if you don't put the envy in check, the envy can cause you a lot of harm. The envy can get you doing life in jail, in prison. That envy can get you doing life in prison, and you would never see your kids again. You would never see your girl again. You would never see your wife again. Have you not read? We have examples from the books that we read. The Quran is in the Quran, and there's also in the Bible, and there's also in the Torah as well. The story about Cain and Abel. One of the Cain and Abel, it was a Cain. I think Cain was jealous of Abel, but it's one of them. Habil and Habil, that's what their names is in Arabic. But anyway, one of those brothers was envious of the other brother because what he got. It's a long story, and so he envied him because he was married to the woman that he actually wanted to get married to, and because God accepted his sacrifice. And what happened as a result of that? God accepted his sacrifice, but he didn't accept his, obviously because he was sincere in his sacrifice, while the other, he was not sincere in his sacrifice. So you only get what you put out there. And that's the way that the world works. Whatever you put out there, that's what you're going to get back. What goes around comes around, and so many other words. So what did he do? His envy and his jealousy, as opposed to him saying, listen, Cain, or listen, Abel, what is it that you did for Allah, for God to accept your sacrifice and not mine. So what is it that you do? So perhaps next time mine can be accepted. He didn't take that approach. What did he do? See, the person, when you envy somebody, you want to take what they got away from them. And when the envy is really strong, actually, it can get to the point where you actually don't want that person to live. You can actually, you can take the life of that person. People have died because of the envy of other people. Passed away because the envy of other people. The person who was envious take the life of somebody that he envies. Truth, real talk, man. Facts. Envy the person and they take the life of that person. And guess what? Now go back to the story of Cain and Abel. After he killed his own brother, this is his own blood brother, which shows you what? Which shows you that envy can creep and it can blind you. It can blindfold you to even recognize, man, this is my own sibling. This is my own flesh and blood, and look what I'm doing to him. And that's why one of the early scholars, they said that hasad, envy and jealousy, it blinds the heart. It blinds you from seeing actual good in the person. I'm talking about manifest good in the person, but you so envious, so you so jealous that it blinds you to that. It blinds you that you can't even see obvious good. And it leads you to do what? And lead Cain to do what? Do the unthinkable and what? Kill his own brother. And so when he did that to his own brother, look what happened. He felt remorse. And that's the side effects. Just like there's side effects from taking medications, right? You drink, you get a hangover, right? You take a certain medication. It may heal this. I mean, it may take away the pain from this, but after you finish, you have severe headaches, or you have crazy thoughts. You have thoughts about doing something to yourself, right? You become psychotic, or you become, you start to think demonic. Those can be the side effects. I mean, but before you did that, you need to realize that when you get into stuff like that, it's going to be a consequence. You see? You just think about the relief, but you don't think about what you have to go through after that. That pleasure is only temporary, but the consequences is permanent. You're going to deal with that for life. In this life and the afterlife. So that's the thing. That's what happened to Cain and Abel. After he did that, he felt remorseful, like, man, look what I have done to my own brother. Same thing with Prophet Joseph. With his brothers, they was jealous of him because, he was dearer to the father than the rest of them were. And he was also very handsome. He was a good looking guy. And they was envious and they was jealous of him, and they threw him in the well. They all came together and they all agreed. See, remember I said jealousy. I mean, misery love company, haters love company. Guess what? I'm gonna add something to that. People that envy you, envious people, they love the company of envying somebody else. Think about that. Envy people, they enjoy being amongst people that they envy. Envy people enjoy being amongst people who are envious of other people. They enjoy it, especially if it's the same person. If it's the same person, oh man, that conversation that's going to be a 2-3 hour long conversation. Trust me. It's going to be a long conversation because they got much to talk about, which is you. Okay? All they're going to talk about is you. So, with that being said, that's the same thing that Joseph's brothers did to him. They came together to try to harm him. But God protected him. Allah protected him from them. You see, and that's the thing. When you be upright and you be righteous and you be pious, then you will be protected. You will be protected if you're upright and you're righteous. And at the end of the day, guess what? If you look at the end of the story, what happened? Who had the upper hand? Joseph had the upper hand. Why? Because they eventually came back to him and they bowed before him. They bowed before Joseph. You see how that works? Okay, so but the moral of the story is, I'm specifically talking to people that are envious and jealous. Okay, being envious of somebody ain't gonna lead you nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And you think it ain't even worth it. It's not worth it for you to be envious of somebody and you want something that somebody else got, and you see somebody, you try to stick them up and take what they got, and you know what I'm saying, you end up doing 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years in jail, and now you got much time in jail, not much time in prison to think about what you have done. But by that time, it's too late now. You should have thought about that before you did what you did. It's too late now. You about to do 50, 60, 70 years, possibly life in jail because of something. All you had to do was just ask the person how they got what they got. Man, these stories, you hear these stories all the time, man. All the time. All the time. And so you doing life in jail, okay? You can't see your kids. So that's a mental pain that you're going to deal with. You can't see your wife. So that's a mental pain you deal with. And I'm going to tell you what that can possibly lead to. When you can't see your wife, right? And then when you in there and you can't see your wife, then you know what happens? There are some people that they can't, like the mental stress is so horrible that they end up hanging themselves. True stories. They go to their cell and they see the person hung himself. You know what I'm saying? He hung himself in the jail cell. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you only get what you throw out there. I mean, you reap what you sow. And then another thing too, let me tell you another thing that happens. When you go into jail, it's a great chance that if you're not part of some type of religious affiliation that has like, if you Muslim and you go to jail, it's a lot of Muslims, and like Muslims are very heavy in the penitentiary. So, and they embrace you. They embrace you when you come in there. So right away you got protection when you go in there. Okay, the Moors, the Nation of Islam, groups like that, probably other groups, Vice Lords, GDs, Bloods, you got protection as soon as you go in there. And even when it comes to that stuff, like GDs and Bloods and gangs, you may be a part of it, but if you're not really a part of it, but you're just saying you're a part of it and you get in there, if you don't know your literature, then they consider that false flagging. So you can't be a part of them. So you a lone sheep in there. And so when you're a lone sheep, you know what ends up happening? You get raped. You end up getting raped in there. You end up getting raped in there, and guess what? You get raped in there, man. Some of the guys that go in there and they get raped, a lot of them, they come out, they fruity. They come out, they homosexuals. They don't even like women no more. You know what I'm saying? A guy told me, I was having a conversation with a guy one day. He told me, he said, man, it was this guy. He said, this guy was one of the hardest guys in Detroit. He was one of the hardest guys in Detroit. And he went to jail for selling dope or whatever like that. He went to prison for, doing that. And when he went there, he came out and he was gay. He came out gay. And he was like, man, like, what happened? Like, you was one of the hardest cats in Detroit. What happened? You went in there and you came out. He was like, man, he said, I got raped every single night. And he said they did it so much that I got used to it. He started to like it. You know what I'm saying? And so his whole life changed because of a decision that he made before that actually led him to get in there. So what I'm saying to you guys, man, be very, very cautious. Be very cautious of the envy. Be very cautious of the envy, the evil eye that you give people, because it can lead you to a place where you do not want to be. I'm telling you because I've seen stuff like this happen. Don't listen. The evil eye is a bad boy. Envy, jealousy, that stuff is a bad boy. It's better for you to be envious and just deal with it in your mind than to act upon it. Because when you act upon it, you got to understand who's behind that. Satan is behind that. I don't mean to get too religious here, but I mean, there's no other way that I can put it. Satan is behind all of that. We call him Shaitan in Arabic. He's behind all of that. He's behind all of that. So he's helping you and they're telling you, giving you suggestions of how to be more envious. And next thing you know, you're going to regret it for your whole life. So you got Professor Smellgood, and I'm giving you guys instructions and lessons on if you want something that somebody else do, simply what I just told you. Just sit at their feet and ask them how they got what they got. And do not be driven by jealousy or envy, because I guarantee you that you're going to regret it. She got Professor Smith. Thank you guys for watching.